Welcome back to the Learning Summit podcast, where we dive into the latest trends in workplace learning and development. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're discussing something that every organisation needs, but not everyone enjoys: compliance training. Whether it's data protection, workplace safety, or industry regulations, compliance training is often seen as a box-ticking exercise. But done right, it can protect businesses, employees, and customers while boosting company culture. To break it all down, I'm joined by Sean Gilligan, founder of Webanywhere. Sean, welcome back.
Thanks, Alex. Compliance training is one of those things that people don't always get excited about, but it's absolutely critical for every business. If ignored, it can lead to legal trouble, financial penalties, and even reputational damage.
Let's start with the basics. What exactly is compliance training and why does it matter?
Compliance training is mandatory training that ensures employees follow laws, regulations, and company policies. It covers things like data privacy, cybersecurity, anti-harassment policies, workplace safety, and ethical conduct. The goal is to make sure employees understand what's required of them, how to handle risks, and how to keep the company legally compliant.
And without it, companies open themselves up to major risks, right?
Absolutely. Fines, lawsuits, security breaches, and reputational damage can all happen if employees aren't properly trained. A single compliance violation can cost a business millions in legal fees and lost trust. But beyond avoiding penalties, good compliance training helps create a safe, ethical, and well-functioning workplace.
One of the biggest complaints about compliance training is that it feels boring and repetitive. How can companies make it more engaging?
That's a great point. Most people see compliance training as a chore, something they just have to get through. The key is to make it interactive and relevant. Instead of long text-heavy modules, companies should use short videos, real-life scenarios, quizzes, and gamification to keep employees engaged. For example, rather than just reading about cybersecurity, employees could go through a simulated phishing attack to see how well they can spot threats.
That's smart. Making training practical instead of just theoretical makes a big difference.
Exactly. People remember what they experience, not just what they read.
Laws and regulations change all the time. How can companies make sure their compliance training stays up to date?
First, regularly review and update training materials to reflect new regulations and company policies. Compliance isn't a one and done thing, it needs to evolve. Second, work with legal and HR teams to ensure training is accurate and aligned with the latest rules. Finally, use an LMS, learning management system, to automate updates and track which employees have completed their training. That way, nothing falls through the cracks.
So it's not just about checking a box, it's about building a culture of compliance where employees stay informed and responsible.
Exactly. When compliance is woven into company culture, employees take it seriously instead of seeing it as a burden.
What happens when companies don't take compliance training seriously?
The risks are huge. Businesses can face hefty fines and legal penalties for non-compliance. Data breaches leading to lawsuits and loss of customer trust. Workplace safety incidents that could have been avoided. Toxic work environments due to lack of anti-harassment or ethics training. In some industries, non-compliance can even shut a business down. That's why this training isn't just paperwork, it's a must-have for long-term success.
So how can companies get employees to take compliance training seriously?
Here are a few strategies. Firstly, make it relevant. Explain why compliance training matters to their job. If employees see the real-world impact, they'll be more engaged. Secondly, keep it short and focused. No one wants to sit through hour-long lectures. Break training into bite-sized, easy-to-digest modules so it's less overwhelming. Thirdly, reward and recognize completion. Consider using certificates, incentives, or gamification to make training feel like an achievement. Fourthly, provide real-world scenarios. Use case studies, role-playing, or interactive exercises to show how compliance issues play out in real life. Finally, make it ongoing. Compliance isn't a one-time event. Regular refreshers and updates help reinforce key concepts so employees don't forget them.
That's a great list. If companies want compliance training to work, they need to make it part of their culture, not just an annual requirement.
Exactly. When compliance training is engaging, relevant, and continuous, it becomes second nature to employees rather than just another task to complete.
This has been an eye-opening discussion. Just to recap, compliance training is important because it protects companies from legal and financial risks, ensures workplace safety and ethical conduct, builds trust with employees and customers, reduces security threats and data breaches, creates a stronger company culture. For businesses looking to improve their compliance training, what's the first step they should take?
Start by evaluating your current training. Is it engaging, up to date, easy to access? Then look at ways to make it more interactive, relevant, and trackable using modern e-learning tools.
That's fantastic advice. Before we wrap up, where can companies go to learn more about compliance training solutions?
They can visit Webanywhere.com. We help businesses create compliance training programs that are engaging, effective, and easy to manage.
Sean, thanks again for another insightful discussion.
Thanks, Alex. Always great to chat.
Thanks for listening to the Learning Summit podcast, and we will see you next time.